Today, I'm going to show you how to pull every local television channel out of thin air in full high definition for the rest of your life, using nothing but an old charging cord you already have shoved in a drawer. No subscription, no monthly bill, no gadget to buy. By the end of this, you will know exactly how to strip that cord, where to plug it, the free website that tells you how many channels you can expect before you build anything, and the one 30-second trick that can double what you pick up. Stick with me, because the build itself takes about 2 minutes, and I will walk you through every step. I have been running the TV in my spare room on nothing but a stripped cord for months now, and I am never paying for those channels again. Let me get something out of the way first, because you have probably seen it. There are videos all over the internet showing someone plugging a phone charger into the USB port on the back of a TV, and suddenly hundreds of channels appear. I need you to hear me clearly. That does not work. It cannot work. The USB port on your television has nothing to do with receiving channels. It is there for power and for plugging in a memory stick. Those videos are staged, and millions of people have tried it and walked away thinking the whole idea is a scam. It is not a scam. There is a real version of this. It is based on actual physics, and it works in almost any home in the country. The fakers just plugged into the wrong hole. So here's the real thing. Every flat-screen television sold today has a tuner built into it. It is the same kind of receiver that has existed for decades, except now it pulls in a crisp digital signal instead of fuzzy old analog. And floating through the air around you right now, passing through the walls of your house, are free broadcast signals from your local stations, your news, your network shows, live sports on the major channels, public television. All of it is being beamed out for free, the way it has been for 70 years. And your TV already has everything it needs to catch it, except for one part. An antenna. And an antenna, when you strip away the marketing, is just a piece of metal that the radio waves can wiggle electrons around in. That is the whole secret. A wire is an antenna, a coat hanger is an antenna, the copper inside that old charging cord is an antenna. Now before you strip a single cord, do this one thing first, because it tells you in 10 seconds whether this is even worth your time. There's a free website called disablemycable.com, and it has a tool called the Station Finder. You type in your zip code and it shows you exactly which broadcast channels are reaching your specific address and how strong each signal is. I will put the link in the description so you can open it right now. If that finder shows you 20, 30, 40 stations in your area, you are about to catch most of them with a piece of scrap wire. If it shows you only 2 or 3 because you live way out past the towers, then at least you know that going in, instead of building an antenna and blaming yourself when the air is just quiet where you are, check first, then build. Once you have seen what is available, look at the back of your television and you will find a round threaded post, a little metal nub with a hole in the dead center. It might say antenna, it might say cable, it might say RF, or just a number. That post connects straight to the tuner. That is the doorway the fake videos should have used. Everything we do from here goes into that one spot. Now grab your old cord. A phone charging cable is perfect, a pair of old earbuds works, even a length of speaker wire from a dead set of computer speakers. Take a pair of scissors or a knife and cut the cord, then strip back about 2 inches of the outer plastic until you expose the thin metal wires inside. Twist those little strands together into one stiff point so you have something firm to work with. That twisted copper point is now the receiving end of your antenna, and it cost you nothing. Take the twisted end and push it gently into the center hole of that round antenna post on your TV. Just the center. You want the bare metal of your wire touching the bare metal in the middle of that connector. That is the entire physical connection. A drawer cord touching a port that was sitting there empty your whole life. The last step lives in your TV's menu. Grab the remote, go into settings, and look for the word tuner or channel scan, sometimes hidden under a setup menu. You will usually get a choice between cable and antenna or cable and air. Choose antenna or air. Then start the scan and let it run. The television is now sweeping through every frequency, listening for any station strong enough to come through that little piece of copper, and one by one it starts stacking them up. The first time that number climbs past 20, past 30, sometimes past 50 channels, on a cord you were about to throw away. It genuinely does not feel real. Before I show you how to push that channel count way higher, let me tell you why this is worth 2 minutes of your evening. Because the number is bigger than people think. A cable or streaming bundle that includes your local channels runs most households somewhere between $80 and $200 a month. The channels you're pulling out of the air right now for free are the exact same local networks carried inside those packages, often in sharper quality because over-the-air broadcast is not squeezed and compressed the way a cable feed is. Over a single year, that is $1,000 or more for signals that are legally required to be free. that are already passing through your living room that your television was always able to receive. You are renting something the air gives away. Now let me make this antenna genuinely good, because a bare 2-inch wire will catch the strong local stations, but a few more seconds of effort pulls in the weaker ones too. Radio waves have a length, and an antenna works best when its metal roughly matches a slice of that length. For the channels most of your local stations broadcast on, a piece of wire somewhere around 6 to 12 inches long is the sweet spot, far better than a tiny stub. So if your cord is longer, do not trim it down to nothing. Strip more of it, straighten it out, and give the signal more metal to grab onto. More length, within reason, means more channels. And here is the 30-second trick I promised you. Position is everything. Those signals are coming from broadcast towers somewhere out on your horizon, and they pass through glass far more easily than through a wall full of pipes and wiring. So run your stripped cord toward a window, especially a window that faces the part of town where the stations are, and tape the exposed end up high against the glass. Going from the floor behind the TV to taped up on a window can take you from a dozen channels to 40. If you want to go one step further, take a small sheet of aluminum foil, smooth it out behind your wire like a little reflector, and it will help bounce more of the signal into your antenna. A drawer cord, a window, and a square of kitchen foil, outperforming a store-bought antenna that wanted $25 for the privilege. Now I'm going to be straight with you, because the honesty is the whole point of this channel. This pulls in broadcast channels, the free over-the-air networks. It will not give you the cable-only channels like the big sports networks or the movie channels, because those were never broadcast through the air for anyone to catch. And how many channels you get depends on how far you sit from the towers, which is exactly why that station finder matters before you start. Someone in a city might scan 50, someone deep in the countryside, an hour from the nearest tower, might only catch a handful even with a perfect setup. That is not the trick failing. That is just distance and physics, and now you know how to judge it for yourself instead of believing a staged video. But for the cost of an old cord you were ready to toss, in about 2 minutes, you just gave yourself free local television for as long as you own that TV. Check your zip code, strip the cord, plug the bare copper into the center of that round antenna post, scan for antenna channels, then run the wire to a window and back it with foil to pull in even more. If this saved you a cable bill, do me a favor and send it to someone who is still paying for channels that float through their house for free. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.